Okay, I am on my way down to Dartmoor in this horrible, disgusting, nasty weather. And I have absolutely no idea what I'm going to do down there if it stays like this. I'm hoping there may be some reasonable patches of weather when I can get out and take some photographs up on the moors, or some riverside photographs at Dartmeet. It's autumn, but it's now mid-autumn, I would say. It's early November, no, what's it, the 9th of November today. And with this weather, a lot of the leaves are going to be blown down. So we aren't going to have many weeks of autumn colour left. And that's part of my reason for coming out. That I haven't really had a proper woodland shoot, just shooting trees. I've had plenty of time out shooting fungi. But I really want some autumn colour, and that's why I've come down this way. I could have stayed in the New Forest, but I really fancied a little bit of time away in the van. Well, this rain is definitely getting worse. I really wanted to go all the way down to Cornwall and do some coastal photography of some stormy seas crashing against the cliffs. But given that my engine management light has come on, that isn't going to happen. Welcome, and I haven't done much in the way of explanation about using my van, really. And today seems like an appropriate day because, as you might be able to tell from the windscreen over there, it's just wet again, dear me. So yesterday I drove down from Southampton in heavy rain. I think you'll have seen a little of that footage. And this morning, whilst I woke up to just light rain, we currently have, probably for the next hour or so, a band of heavy rain moving through. So all of that leaves me here in the van, where I am hoping to catch up on some video editing. Actually, I probably got 2 or 3 videos to make from footage I've already captured, and I'm hoping to capture 2 or 3 videos worth of material on this trip. I would have liked some of that to be nighttime photography, but I really don't think that's going to happen. The forecast for night skies really isn't great. I would also just like to do some straightforward woodland photography, if the light and the conditions allow. Looking at the trees around me here, a lot of them are already bare, so I think overnight and yesterday a lot of the remaining leaves have been stripped from the trees, but that will obviously depend on the particular genre and species of tree. So there may still be some trees with colour, particularly some of the beech trees, which tend to hold on to their leaves that much longer. So I'm hoping we'll still find some woodland colour. That would be nice. If we don't, there'll be plenty of water about, because it has been so wet, and so that means potential for some river photography. So that's my plan for the remainder of the trip, and in the meantime I shall be here back on my computer and editing some of the work that I have yet to process and to put up on the channel. this is quite, it's quite a nice place to do this sort of stuff, but I am reaching the limitations of my van. I'm short on places to put things, hence there's all sorts of stuff piled up on the seats here. I'm short of somewhere to dry things out, so I've got coats draped over some of the front seating and so on. But nevertheless, compared to trying to do this in a car, my little van is a great little place to be. Okay, so this is the view on weather and radar at the moment. I'm hoping you can see that. And where that red dot is, that's where I am. And we're right now on the edge of the rain bend. So I think it is going to be drying up, which is great. So that band of rain has moved across us, and we're now going to have some interesting light. Now, the photographer in me is telling myself, cursing myself now, because I really should have been out and about as the rain is stopping, of course. That would be the ideal conditions. Nice bit of storm light, that contrast between when you've got that nasty weather and when you've got better weather moving through. Anyway, I'm here in the van doing a bit on the computer, but I think it's time to put the computer away, and I'm going to do that, and I'm going to get my gear together, and I'm going to trot on out to the Meldon Reservoir. Well, you can see now that an awful lot of the leaves have come down, and I can't believe the difference that just the last day and a half, 2 days has made. We've gone from these nice golden russets and browns and reds through to a very wintry looking scene. There's still a little bit of tree colour there, but the vast majority of it has gone. I don't want to pack too much into one video, so I may split this material up into 2 different episodes. It's a bit of a grand word, isn't it? But meantime, I've spent enough time mucking around. I need to get myself out there in amongst the wind and the wet and see what I can find. Now, one of my favourite woodland scenes ever was shot, I think, on my RX-10 Mark IV of one of these banks built up that trees have grown into or been planted into to create this fantastic site here. These old beech trees that are just rooted into the bank, into the wall, and allowed to grow. It looks superb. So I'm just going to see if I can get a shot of this that kind of does what I'm looking for. I might experiment from both ends of it, but what an absolutely gorgeous find.
Trees tumble over the ground, quiet as breath. You light from death will clothe you in green again. Pathways of russets and browns, each leaf that falls to the ground begins a new life, as old as undone, in every color that glows in the sun.
What it does need on it, of course, is some light to bring out some contrast and some of the textures in the roots and the mosses here. But we haven't really got that. But the sun is behind you at the moment. Oh, and that's just totally changed the scene as the sun came out there. Right, so the shot really is absolutely from this end. And while we've got some light, I'm going to grab you and my kit and we're going to set up down here. What a find. It just needed that little bit of light, and just for a few seconds we had it. But given the way the skies are, I'm pretty sure the sun is going to come out again. And when it does, I intend to be there. So from here, we've got this drooping, it's not fallen, very much a drooping tree branch, very substantial, coming all the way around here. What an unusual thing. I don't particularly intend to make that the focus of this shot, but the arch it may help, it may hinder. I'm going to try with and without, but either way I think that a portrait orientation is probably what this wants. And I don't want to get too close. I don't want to get too close to the line of the trees, because you just start to lose them. You start to lose the sense of the spacing of the trees and the way that they work together to create this gorgeous border. Absolutely beautiful. So I need to find the kind of peak position really, and I need that light to return. So from this position I've also got this little brook that skirts around the end of this border, but I'm trying to decide whether or not it's simply a distraction or whether or not it adds to it. I might do a variety of compositions here. So I'm on quite a steep bank and it's full of shale, and if I come up close you can see it's quite a broken surface, and if I was using rubber feet here I definitely would not have a firm grip, and I want to make sure this tripod doesn't move because I might be focus stacking and definitely be bracketing my shots in terms of exposure, and so I want a good steady footing. And so you can see here that this spike has driven right into the ground. I haven't pushed it particularly hard, but I have got a really good firm base, and this tripod is going nowhere. Now, this is one of those moments where you think, if this is the only picture that I get today, I'm going to be a happy guy, because this is a fantastic little scene. I think this trumps the one that I took across the way, about 1.5 miles away up the top of the hill, because this is a much better defined border, I think. And it's got this arch. I've decided I like this. It looks really good in a landscape view. It's quite a complex shot in some ways, because it can be quite busy. And the temptation is to go like really wide here and just try and take in the whole scene, but that isn't going to help really. I want to concentrate on what it is that really draws your attention here, and this is the textures and the form of this beautiful line of beech trees. It's something like Batacleur or something like that. I'll look it up and put it on the screen if I can find the name of it. Now, it's also complex because I'm having to use the histogram a lot here and to bracket this. In fact, I think I'm just going to turn bracketing on to 2 stops of light, and we'll auto bracket it by 2 stops and a frame each way, basically, and I think that should do us. Focusing is also potentially an issue here, as in where to focus, because it's quite a deep scene. I'm just going to get PhotoPills out. So Nikon Z7 II, not the Z6 II. And focal length, I'm currently at a little under 50mm. I'm going to call it 45mm. And I'm at f9. So at f9 and 50mm, the hyperfocal range in meters is about 7.5 meters, which roughly speaking I would say is about to that 1, 2, 3, 4, either the third or fourth tree. And so basically that's probably the best point for me to focus on. If I focus at 7.5 meters or so, then pretty much anything from about 4 meters through to essentially, well, to about 30 meters should be in pretty sharp focus. I could go to f11 and that effectively will then give me pretty much till infinity. I'm going to go to f11. So I don't want the background in this case to be soft at all. And I'm trying to balance my initial exposure so that I've got a balance between clipping the highlights and the shadows, and then I'm going to rely on the bracketing to do the rest of the work for me. And I'm just going to check the distance, because I want this to be sharp. Right, this is about 4 meters here. That's the second tree. 5, 6, 7. Yeah. So 7 and a bit meters is this tree here. Okay, so by focusing on this tree, and pretty much the entire scene that's in the view should be sharp. I just need the light. Come on, light.
Quiet as breath, you light from death will clothe you in green again. Pathways of russets and browns, each leaf that falls to the ground begins a new life as old as undone, in every color that glows in the sun.
Well, I am delighted to say that we did have our moments of light, and they really were moments, but I think they have been worth waiting for. So just to kind of sum this one up, there's a few things that I've kind of drawn attention to here. Stability on the tripod. I've used the spikes today to just get really grounded, and it's not going anywhere. I've used PhotoPills as well, just to be quite sure on here that my whole scene is in focus. I wasn't quite happy with f8 or f9 that I was going to get the depth that I wanted in this scene in terms of sharpness, and so I upped that to, or narrowed it down to f11, just to increase that depth of focus, depth of field. What else have I done? I've tried portrait and landscape shots here, and because of the challenges of the light, that we're under the canopy here, we've got high levels of contrast when the sun comes out, it's catching those wet autumn leaves, and I don't want to lose that color, I don't want it to blow out. And so because of that, I've also exposure bracketed the shot as well. And I've got to say, this is one of those times where this camera and its automatic functionality absolutely shines. It is so good for setting up all the auto bracketing and all of that kind of stuff, for setting my focus position exactly where I want it. The touch screen controls are absolutely superb. Now I'm going to move on from here now. I'm running out of time. It's 12:15. It's pretty much lunchtime, and that's the time that I'd allowed myself. I have, whilst I was waiting for the light, done a little bit of hunting around for fungi. Haven't found any in these woods here. I think that's probably it for now. I'll sign off in the anticipation I'm not going to find fungi. And if you've been watching, thanks very much for doing so. And join me for the second part of this, and we'll post that one hopefully next week.